Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're going to give you a little bit of an update on Rezolve. We're going to keep this one short, sweet, and straight to the point because we don't have any new news today for the company. There was no press releases put out or anything like that, but I do want to share the option activity, the short position in Rezolve, what the short sellers did today, take a look at the stock from a technical perspective, and what could be coming next for Rezolve. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check the link out down below in the description of today's episode, all of that good stuff. Again, pretty per typical. Now, Rezolve, just like the markets this morning, we're selling off like crazy. It was another terrible day. Rezolve was getting smoked. Everything was getting smoked. I think retail investors, if they did not capitulate yesterday or the day before, they were capitulating today. And this is a prime example of, what Warren Buffett said in the past, right? His kind of way of looking at stocks. Like, if you bought a house today for $300,000 and then tomorrow or next week somebody was like, hey, do you want to sell your home for $250,000? You'd laugh at them or call the police or something, right? You're obviously like out of your mind for that, okay? Well, same is true with stocks. If you bought a stock like Rezolve at $6 a share a month ago, $5 a share a month ago, whatever the magical number is, and the company's the same. Nothing has fundamentally changed. If anything, things have gotten better with some of the executive appointees. And fast forward a month later, and the price of the stock is $3.86. Would you sell it? Right? A good philosophy is you should never sell a stock based on price action. Okay? The markets, just like Warren Buffett says as well, the markets can stay irrational longer than you can remain solvent. That is the truest statement ever. If you've never heard that one, you're probably laughing at that because, if you were in margin or if you know someone that was in margin or trading in and out this market, this market has been pretty irrational for a while, okay? This market has some pretty irrational fears right now, okay, in my personal opinion, okay, that's just my perspective, but that's the market we've been in. Retail investors have really had it hard the last month or two, and Rezolve has had it really hard for the last month or two as well. But the one thing you have to remember is nothing has changed with Rezolve. Rezolve AI is still the exact same company it was a month ago, 2-3 months ago. Nothing has gotten better. Nothing has gotten worse from a numbers perspective, right? We haven't gotten new guidance. We haven't gotten any new numbers. We've gotten new executive appointees like the Microsoft former executive that just joined Rezolve. That news came out like 2 days ago. I would consider that good news, but not everyone would. Okay, some people are going to say that's nothing. That means nothing. But the fact of the matter is, you just have a massive discount on Rezolve. And when I get discounts, I'm a discount shopper. Okay, like this hat. Okay, let me show you this hat. It's a Detroit Lions hat from Aruba, okay? This was the only one, too, by the way. We'll just wear it for the sake of this video, because why not? They wanted $20, 25 bucks, whatever it was. I said, hey, all I got's 15. I got the hat, okay? Discount shopper. Can't beat this for 15, okay? $15 hollers? Yep. I'll take it. But when I get discounts in the markets, I like to take full advantage of them. And we've gotten a lot of discounts recently. and I've bought a lot of Rezolve recently, and I've bought a lot of other stocks recently as well. I've also trimmed some stocks that I've have profits in that I'm not as, convinced on, okay, that are not, stocks that I would hold for the next 10 years per se, like a Rezolve or some others. I have taken some, profits on two stocks in particular. But unless the story changes fundamentally, you know, good or bad, I usually don't sell a stock, okay? Unless there's something that I really like much better and blah, blah, blah. And I can't find anything I like better than Rezolve. Rezolve is the cream of the crop as far as valuation, market size, now growing into a leadership behemoth, okay? It just really doesn't get better than Rezolve. In my personal opinion, I have not been able to find a stock that is projecting to grow at 333% next year, trading at 2.5 times sales. A little bit less than that, maybe like 2.4 times sales. That is like dirt cheap, okay? That is unreasonably cheap. Let me go to Grok. Let's do this one live. What is a small cap AI stock's normal price to sales ratio? Give Grok a little second to load this. Shouldn't take too long, but when you compare apples to apples, it's pretty incredible that Rezolve has this kind of evaluation, okay? And I'm making the bet that eventually the markets will give Rezolve the valuation that it should, okay? Eventually that will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen next week. I can make speculative opinions. I think once we get, a new ARR update, okay? If Rezolve comes out on Monday and says, hey, we've already hit 160 million in ARR, we are well on our way to achieving 500 million in ARR by the end of next year, boom. That is a major catalyst. If we get a contract that is announced at any point that's of, reasonable large size, that is a very, big piece of news. If we get NVIDIA partnership or news or you get the idea, that is also going to be big, okay? So small cap AI stocks, typically those with market capitalizations between 300 million and 2 billion, often trade at a premium valuation compared to broader small cap market due to their high growth potential in the artificial intelligence sector. The broader small cap index, the Russell 2000, has a median price to sales ratio of around 1.5 to 2.5x, but AI focused companies command much higher multiples, reflecting investor expectations of rapid revenue expansion. Based on recent data from 2025 analysis of public small cap AI stocks, a normal or typical trailing price to sales ratio falls in the 8 to 20x range, with a median closer to 10 to 12x. Forward price to sales ratios based on projected 2025, 2028 to 2026 sales tend to be slightly lower, around 7 to 15x. This is great. SoundHound has a trailing price to sales ratio of 24x. Forward price to sales ratio of 12x. Again, Rezolve has a forward price to sales ratio of 2.5x. Let's do a little bit of simple math here. That means SoundHound is 4.8x more expensive than Rezolve. Now, you got to factor growth into that. So Rezolve is expecting to grow at 333%. SoundHound, I can bet, is not expected to grow nearly that fast. So, really, Rezolve is even more, or even cheaper than what these numbers suggest. If Rezolve was trading at a similar forward valuation as SoundHound, the stock would be sitting at about $18.52. Yeah, the stock is $8.30 or $3.86. I can't find anything better than Rezolve. Now you have other companies. This one says Serve Robotics trading at 50x forward price to sales. BBAI trading at 8x forward sales. Data at 15x trailing sales. You get the idea. Okay. This one even says Knowless Corp. Don't know that company. Says undervalued relative to peers, trading at 2.1x sales. Pretty similar to Rezolve. Now, if we just go ahead and jump over to Ortex here, we could see there was no unusual option activity today. But for today's expiration, you had a volume today of about 74.5% calls, 25.5% puts. Open interest, 84.3% calls and 15.69% puts. For next week, you have open interest of 78.38% calls, 21.62% puts. So there is definitely some bullish activity for next week. You did have about 1.82 million shares that were sold short on net today. Now, again, government shutdown. People are nervous about the economy, blah 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 blah. It's weighing on markets. Now, good news is, according to Trump, you might actually get this government shutdown solved pretty soon. Trump says if they can't reach a deal, Republicans should terminate the filibuster immediately. Trump says the Senate should not leave town until a stopgap deal is reached. Okay, I haven't heard any news that they have left town. Okay, this is Trump's actual post. He says the United States Senate should not leave town until they have a deal to end the Democrat shutdown. If they can't reach a deal, the Republicans should terminate the filibuster immediately and take care of our great American workers. Okay, so it looks like literally any time now we are, going to see maybe the government reopen. Now, then the question becomes, how bad is the economy? Okay, is the economy worse or better than people expect? Okay, we were expecting today a negative jobs report of 60,000. I would make the argument that it's going to be a lot less than that once we actually get the numbers coming out. That is going to set you up for a massive upside surprise. I am willing to make the bet at this point that the economy is probably not as weak as most people on Wall Street think. Okay, I think people are pretty fearful, and they're pretty bad at collecting estimates on the economy. So, with that logic, if we can reopen the government over this weekend, which odds seem to be rising of that, then, next week could be really good for a stock like Rezolve, stock like Poet, some of the other names that we have been buying recently. What about a Path, a UI Path? That stock did pretty well today, coming off the lows at $3.54. We actually bought today at the lows. Stock is currently at $14.41. We've done a lot of buying recently. I bought Poet today. Wow, I didn't think I was going to get the chance to buy Poet at the same levels we were at back in July of 2025, or the same levels, we were at in 2024, with so much progress in that business in just the last couple of months. Like, it's incredible the deals that we have gotten just in the last couple of, last month or two. Rezolve, Poet, UiPath, okay, just to name a few. And once the government reopens, I think it is all clear ahead for an upside surprise in the economy versus expectations. And likely we're going to get a year-end rally on that. I would also imagine that inflation is probably not as big of a problem as some of the Fed officials have been crying about recently. So yeah, I could see a pretty aggressive year-end rally for Resolve. I think we really just need one thing at this point: good news. We need You want to see the government reopen, one, but you want to see Resolve give us some news, give us a contract, give us an update to ARR. You know, Resolve start reporting every 3 months. We actually emailed Resolve a couple months ago to get them on the channel to do an interview with us. And long story short, that was before earnings. They were a little bit busy, and I should probably look into doing that again. But they said that they were going to start reporting every 3 months. That was their plan for next year. Even tell us that, and that would be really good news. The markets don't tend to like stocks that, don't report every 3 months. Like, that is suspect to some investors as is. So I think there's a lot of positive catalysts that could be coming that, Wall Street is gonna get slapped in the face with. Okay. And I think it's only a matter of time before Resolve really makes a run here. Even the RSI is at 35. Like, this is not rocket science. Okay. RSI at 35. Are you serious? For a company like this? Yeah. You're going to be looking at quite a rally coming pretty soon, in my personal opinion. But let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. If you are curious, I still own a whopping, I don't know if it's whopping, you guys probably might have more shares than me, but 35,550 shares of Resolve times $3.86. Even after the pain and the carnage and the damage done, we still have a position size in Resolve of $137,223. I was a little irritated today too, because my average position in a lot of portfolios now is around $3.20, $3.30. The stock got down to $3.57. I was hoping we got a flush down to about that, $3.05 level. That's where I really wanted to do a lot more buying. You'd basically eliminate all of the rally you had since August. Okay. But we did not get that. Okay. The stock bounced in the $3.50 area. Hey, whatever. We'll take it. We got to bounce. So, again, let me know your thoughts on this. Come join the trading community. Link down below in the description of today's episode. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.